This surveillance video obtained by Eyewitness News shows police moving in. They were responding to a call about a man with a gun. They chased one man into the basement. He's identified as 24-year-old Hector de Souza Villalta, believed to be a migrant from Venezuela. A second man, identified as 22-year-old Javier Alborno, tries to flee but is arrested. Police say he also had a gun. 4 of 8 suspects arrested here on Hull Avenue last week can be seen here with police walking them out. They are facing weapons, drugs, and child endangerment charges because police say there was a 7-year-old child staying with them.
Meanwhile,
my name is Joe Biden. I love ice cream.
see, this is what we call a twofold situation that's going on. And I've been screaming about this on videos, the situation that we have people taking over homes that they're creating, for example, the cartels and the Chinese government, that they've taken over homes, creating them into drug mills. We've seen this many times through the news situation. Now they've taken to the next step level because they're falling into situations where they can't end up buying all property. So now they're using the squatter laws to basically get into certain homes and basically create chaos through the U.S. And, you know, we've had the situation here. You've heard the stories of the squatter situation here in New York, which we need new laws put into play. Already, Georgia and Florida they're going to be implementing laws in their state. We are pushing one here in New York that is right now. It's running through through Albany right now. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that going. I know they need some work on that. But recently, we've heard a situation where, besides the one where a woman was murdered, where a couple took over her home, we had another crew of 6 illegal migrants that basically they took over a home and they had drugs, guns, and stuff like that. On top of their arrest, they were released. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they were released without bail.
I fucking knew it! Oh!
This is the problem we're having in New York. We have these district attorneys that just let these people go. Oh, they've suffered enough coming across the border and stuff like that. No, this is the criminal element. Listen, there are those out there who don't like former President Trump. Some of you like Trump. But some of the things he says, you know, a little crazy stuff like that. But it's like Alex Jones. There's truth to it. There is truth to the situation. You know, we've had it happen before in history. When I tell you, look into the history of the Mariana boat lift of the 1980s. And one of the things about that, if you're not familiar with that, if you ever saw the beginning of Al Pacino's Scarface, that situation where all those people on the boats and stuff like that, that actually happened. That part of the story actually happened. Whereas Castro decided to let a lot of people go, and what he did was he emptied his jails. And the country of Haiti saw this happening, and they did the same as well. They emptied their prisons out, throw them on boats, and let them head toward South Florida.
Quien no tenga un corazón que se adapte al esfuerzo y al heroísmo de una revolución, no los queremos, no los necesitamos.
And what happened? It created a high crime rate. It created where basically minorities were losing certain programs. Does that sound familiar? Sounds like what's going on today. And the thing about it is, we haven't learned from the history of that. And the thing about it is, well, that was just Florida. No, it spread it all the way through the country, including into New York. There's stories about there were police enforcement groups that were created just to handle that situation, because a lot of the crime that was happening in Florida ended up here in New York City. So now we had this situation where there were illegal squatters, migrant squatters. They were arrested on drug and guns. They were let go, and the chaos that is happening in the Bronx is just a point of showing what is really truly going on throughout the city of New York. I'm going to read this from the New York Post. 6 of the 8 gun-toting, drug-dealing migrants squatters busted last week in the Bronx were cut loose without bail, as frustrated neighbors said Tuesday that the unruly noise crew brought nothing but trouble back to the block. The NYPD collared the squatters who set up shop across the street from PS 56, note, across from a school, inside a multi-family house on Hull Avenue in the borough's Norwood section, after one of them pointed a 9mm CS pistol at someone on the property last Wednesday, police officials said. I see all the gangsters and wannabe gangsters running around here, one neighbor told the Post. The alleged gunman, Hector de Souza Villata, was cut loose on supervised release Friday evening by the Bronx Criminal Court. Judge Eugene Bowen, you're not going to see this guy again, despite the district attorney's request that Bowen set bail at $150,000 cash or $450,000 bond, according to the district attorney's office. The same judge released 2 other squatters, Jose Pino Castro and Jefferson Orlando Abreu, on their own recognizance after their Friday arraignments, according to the DA's office and court records. Bronx Criminal Court Judge Lawrence Bushing let 3 more, Yohario Martinez, Johan Canales Silva, and Yerbin Lozando Munez, walk on supervised release after their respective hearings, court said. It is not clear why some were remanded and some were cut loose, even though they all faced the same charges of criminal possession of a weapon, criminal possession of controlled substances, and acting in manners injurious to a child. Yes, there was a child in this household around the drugs and the guns. Police said they found 4 guns on the property. De Sousa, Villata, and Javier, both of Venezuela, were allegedly found with handguns on them when cops arrived. The officers found 2 more guns, including a Springfield 9mm pistol and so-called ghost gun, as well as 3 extended magazines, box of ammunition, bag of ketamine, and a bag of ketamine mixed with cocaine, police official says. They were trying to sell that. There was also a 7-year-old child inside, although it's not clear who the parents were. Of course, they don't. Meanwhile, the squatters' hapless neighbors said they were glad cops stamped out whatever grift offenders were allegedly running. Alfred Munoz, a neighbor who has lived in the area for more than 5 decades, said that one day the squatters just appeared at the house and wouldn't leave. The landlord wanted to evict them, but the NYPD told them no. Munoz claimed that, adding that he was often frustrated by the fleet of noisy motorbikes that kept in the front yard. They wake me up at 2 a.m., he said. Another neighbor told the Post the group was commandeering the house about a year and turned it into a noisy, high-traffic hub for whatever scheme they were running. Their operation was sophisticated and looked like they knew what they were doing, she said. They most likely, these guys were freaking gangbangers. These guys were part of either a cartel or some major gang, Venezuelan gang. One day, one of them was beating another man with a pipe. She recalls saying to appear to be a debt collector of some sort. Deport them, said Fazio Furman, a Spanish-speaking immigrant, who said he's angry about the recent wave of criminal immigrants causing trouble in the city. The neighbors certainly appear to have tried to tell the cops about the problem, lodging 8 separate complaints in the last 3 weeks about the squatters blocking the sidewalk or the road. But authorities didn't clear the house until last week's gun incident, even though it sits across from PS 56, a school filled with high achievers. See, and the thing about it is, and there's a little bit more to this, and it talks about squatters' rights. Note, understand, they say, well, you know, the person needs to be here 30 days to claim squatters' rights. Most of these people are in, and I'll tell you this from what I've heard around the island, is that the cops don't even verify this. You know, they have their hands tied to the situation. These people will say, well, I have a lease with the place and stuff like that. They don't check into the lease. They don't check if the lease is legitimate. There are people out here who own homes, and they're trying to sell their homes, or they're trying to renovate them, or they go away on vacation, and these people freaking take over the house when they come back. And the thing is that as the owner, they have all the information to say, this is my home, this is where I live in situation. And meanwhile, they have no rights to the situation. This is what we need to change in Albany. This is the situation. You know, there are those out there, well, they deserve the home, you know, they deserve. No, they don't. They don't. There are people who work hard because they're trying, and the thing about it is, they're trying to pitch into the situation of the bad landlord on one end. And on the other end, there are people who own their own homes, and they're landlords, and they're good people, and they're trying to put those together and say, like, well, there are bad landlords out there. All these people are bad landlords, and all these people deserve the rights to squat in their house without paying rent to the situation. No, you have it all wrong. Totally wrong. Yes, there are bad landlords out there. Yes, the city needs to go after them, and you could see what it is. And NYCHA happens to be one of them. See, the thing about it is, most people don't realize is that the city of New York, it's his own landlord. They have situations where they've been bad landlords themselves, and this is why things like laws like this have not been changed, because they would literally have to go after New York itself for being a bad landlord. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that at all. But tell me in the comments below your thoughts about this. What you think about this on there? Because basically, these people are breaking the law. They're breaking the law. They've come here to break the law. ICE should be already in here, taking these people, deporting them immediately, putting them to trial, you know, have the trial and stuff like that. They should be held, you know, by ICE. This is a situation, you know, we have judges, district attorneys that are not following the writ of law, because basically, you know, we have situations where we have activists in our judicial system. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like, share this video, and hopefully today's the day I earn your subscription. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and bye.
Don't touch that dial.
Much later.
We know 7 of the 8 people arrested during last week's raid are now in Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody. 2 of those suspects also faced murder and assault charges in the last year, but they were released. 3 more people were arrested yesterday. We're going to show you some new video. It shows federal agents at this home in the Bronx Wednesday afternoon. There you see it on the security footage. Authorities walking several people out of the home in handcuffs. This all started last Wednesday when police responded to a call about a man with a gun near the school you mentioned. Police chased 2 Venezuelan migrants with illegal guns into their home, where they discovered they had been squatting in the basement. Here's a look at that basement. Inside, police say they found several more guns, cocaine, and ketamine, all in the presence of a 7-year-old child. 5 more men and 1 woman were arrested.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel, as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are 2 ways listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop, where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.